Today we will recap an action film called Hitman, Agent 47. After years of searching, Dr. Delrigo finally found her, a girl by the name of Katia Van Dies, the daughter of Peter Aaron Litvenko, a scientist who had successfully managed to create super soldiers to do government's dirty work. These soldiers were called agents, but before his work was documented, he disappeared without a trace, and his daughter was the only way to find him. But suddenly, their computers are hacked and a virus is uploaded to their system. Delrigo's bodyguards quickly enter the room and escort him out, taking him to the safe house. But on the way, a bomb set under the road explodes, sending one of the cars flying. The two remaining cars quickly turn back and drive in the opposite direction. A motion sensor gun is activated, and when they drive near it, the driver to the second car is sniped and killed. The remaining car drives away from the scene very quickly, and luckily, they reach their underground safe house. They leave the car and Delrigo is quickly taken to the highly secured safe house where he had to use eye recognition just to enter. Once inside, something felt strange. The guards posted there are unresponsive. He walks up to them, and when he tapped their shoulders, they fall on the keyboards with bullet holes on the heads. He could not believe it. He had just walked right into the trap of Agent 47. 47 wanted to know the location of Katia Van Dies, the girl Delrigo had just found. He tries to ask nicely, but when Delrigo refuses to tell him, he threatens to cut out his eye. Delrigo is left with no choice but to speak, so he gives out her location, and since 47 had no beef with him, he lowers his knife without harming him. But as he is walking away, Delrigo sees his chance. He runs to a gun shelf, but when he opens it, it was booby-trapped with a bomb and he is blown to pieces. The building alarms go off and his entire protection unit jump out, heading to the location of the explosion, and in that commotion, 47 starts to take them out one by one. More men come running, but he is ready for them. He takes his guns out and shoots anybody who dared to attack him, and after single-handedly killing all Delrigo's men, he walks out of the building unscathed. He is amongst the super soldiers created by Peter Aaron Litvenko and was an assassin for hire. On the other side, Katia Van Dies goes to a local library to try and look for his father. Everyone looking for her thought she knows where he was, but she does not. In fact, she only had fading memories of him in a very old and blurry picture. She tries to ask around and look at the library records, but she finds nothing. She walks out of the library very disappointed and goes to her house. For a long time, Katia had tried her best to find him, but her efforts were to no avail. The few memories she had of him were very blurry and really troubled her. She had to take medication just to remain sane. After running her facial ID on the town CCTV footages, 47 locates her. He quickly prepares himself and leaves to get her. As Katia is sleeping, she begins to see visions of 47. She had a heightened sense of danger and she knows he was coming for her. So Katia quickly packs her bags, and by the time 47 reaches her door, she had ran away through the roof. She goes to the train station, but 47 is hot on her heels. Out of nowhere, she bumped into a man called John Smith who offered to help her, but she quickly rejects his offer. But before she walks off, she senses his presence again coming for her, and before long he caught up. He pulls out a gun and starts shooting towards the two without a second thought. As Katia is running away, John remains behind, shooting at this sadistic man, trying to buy time for her to escape. He knocks him and the two fell on a train track and started fighting. Very easily, 47 dominates the fight. He tries to walk away, but John was relentless and does not let him leave. Luckily, an oncoming train distracts 47 and John is able to escape with a head start. He runs and meets up with Katia and they run into a car and drive off. Before they reach far, their driver is sniped and killed by 47, who was still following them from behind. They get out of the car and continue the run on foot. When they realize 47 is still behind them, John takes out his gun and shoots up in the air outside the American embassy and he is arrested. He knew that 47 was not stupid enough to come for them in this highly protected building, as that would be suicide. As Katia is being interrogated, 47 walks in. He walks up to the embassy security and voluntarily hands over his bag, and when it was scanned, the security could not believe it. He was armed to the teeth. He is taken to an interrogation room for questioning. A detective brings and places his gun on the table, as he could not understand why a sane person would walk into an American embassy with so many guns, so he wanted answers. When he is asked who he is, without hesitation, he answers he is an assassin and he wanted the girl. He then kicks the table and the gun is thrown into the air. It lands and shoots and the bullet cuts his handcuffs into two. He then very quickly knocks out the two guards in the room and releases himself. When John hears this, he knew the madman had come. He jumps and breaks through the glass and goes to get Katia. They quickly run outside, but 47 is right behind them. They hijack a police car and drive off, trying to escape. When 47 sees this, he runs to the top of a building where he could see the two escaping with a clear view. He aims at the car and shoots. The bullet hits the car but it continues going. The next day, Katia is still alive. The bullet had only managed to graze her arm but she is okay. John helps her bandage her wound and Katia begins to feel like she can trust him. She pulls out her maps and pins them on the hotel wall. The two begin to brainstorm trying to figure out where her father could be hiding, and after a while, Katia figured it out. She knew where her father was hiding. John tries to pressure her to tell him but before she could say anything, the devil walks in and shoots him several times in the chest. He then knocks Katie out and carry her as he leave. When Katia wakes up, she is tied to a chair. 47 emerges from the darkness and when he touches her, Katia begins to get flashbacks. She remembers herself as a child and her parents. She remembers that as they were trying to escape, she saw a boy standing by the roadside. That boy was 47. It turns out, the two were part of the same experiments as children. 47 explained to her that John only wanted to use her to get to his father, as his organization wanted to restart the super soldier program. Katia was given a choice, to either trust her memories and work with 47, or blindly follow a man she met randomly on the road. 47 walks off and leaves her still tied to the chair. He then powers on a plane engine behind her which begins to pull Katia, but when she focused, she is able to untie herself very easily as her father had also modified her into a super soldier. But as they try to walk outside, mercenaries converge at their location. 47 turns on all of the machines in the place to confuse the soldiers and give himself a fighting chance, and one by one, they are eliminated. As they are moving around, Katia bumps into John but this time, he was not friendly. 47 appears from the back and the two begins to fight, but this time, the fight was very different. 47 tries to stab him but the knife could not penetrate through his skin. He beats 47 and throws him to the ground. John then picks a gun and points it at him, but before he could do anything, Katia shoots and hit the window behind him. It breaks and the two soldiers are sucked into a plane engine blowing up, but John survives. When the two manage to escape, 47 was not playing around. He demands to be told where her father was and Katia had no choice but to tell him. He was in Singapore. So the two head to Singapore. Immediately, the head of the syndicate Antoine Leclerc is informed and he in turn contacts the airport security and instructs them to scan every entry point and notify him when they see them. In the airport, 47 steals and wears a pilot uniform. He then gives Katia one instruction. He tells her to avoid being seen by the cameras at all cost before leaving, and using her super soldier sensory abilities, she scans the entire airport's CCTV arrangements. She then walks through the airport hiding behind different things to avoid being seen and before long, she makes it out. 47 was already out there waiting for her in a red Audi. The security tries to scan for her in the airport's CCTV footages but they find nothing. Unfortunately, she was caught by an outside camera as she was entering the car. In their hotel room, 47 sleeps on high alert with his two guns by his side. Deep in the night when Katia couldn't sleep, she takes 47's guns and take them apart to clean them. But when morning comes, syndicate mercenaries jump through the door but 47 is waiting for them. They fight and he easily beat them and by the time Katia returns his guns, the job was already done. 47 is not happy with what she did. He gives her a firm warning not to do that again. The two quickly prepare but before they leave, 47 hands Katia a knife as he knows there is an open contract for them, and as they make their way around, their movements are closely monitored by Antoine Leclerc who wanted Katia's father from the beginning to create super soldiers. After years of searching for him, Katia had her first chance to see him, Mr. Peter Aaron Litvenko, her father. Katia could only shed tears as she could not understand why her own father would abandon her and leave her all alone in the world. How dare he turn her into a super sensitive scared person. Litvenko tries to hug her but Katia backed away from him. He tries to explain himself to Katia but she is having none of it. But what he did to her was necessary for her survival. 47 appears in front of them and Litvenko thought he was there to kill him. But 47 just stands there and does not do anything. Suddenly, two people disguised as workers pull out their guns but 47 sees them first and shoot them. They run and quickly go into the Audi and drive off. But before they made their exit, a car blocked their way. It was John. Motorbikes emerge from the back and start chasing after them. One group shoots at them and the other tries to cut them off. But one by one like all the others before them, they are eliminated. He breaks through the glass and emerges just in front of John. As the barriers are being raised, John increases the car speed and manages to escape with seconds to spare. But for John, they were not as lucky as they ram into the barrier and get folded. They drive into the city but before long, the car is hit by an attached hook. It spins around then stops. More hooks puncture into the car from all directions, making the car immobile and it could not move. When he sees men using the ropes to slide towards them, 47 jumps out of the car and take them out mid-air. Some make it to the ground, but 47 quickly take care of them. They get a small chance to escape and they begin to run. Unfortunately, Litvenko is shot on the leg. Katya tries to carry him but she was unable, so 47 pull and carry her away, leaving him behind. Back in the syndicate headquarters, Litvenko is tied to a chair. John wants answers on how to make more super soldiers, but the doctor is adamant and refuses to tell him. He tries to ask nicely but the doctor stays mum, so he is injected with a serum and he begins to shake uncontrollably in pain, but in spite of the pain he stays quiet. On the other side, 47 is plotting. He hacked into the building's CCTV cameras and was monitoring everything. He calls emergency services and directs them to the syndicate headquarters building for an emergency. Then using the building's loudspeakers, he starts to talk to Leclerc. 47 tells them to look outside the window, and when they did, there was a helicopter with a sedated Katya inside. He offered them a better deal. The girl for the old man. He argues that the girl was all they wanted. She was a hybrid and all they had to do is study her as she held all the answers, and quickly. Leclerc accepts the offer and directs him to land the helicopter on the helipad. Litvenko is untied and pulled out of the room ready for the exchange, but when Katya hears what is about to happen, she pushes the control stick forward and the helicopter flies into the building, destroying everything in its path, but it finally stops. When a mercenary goes to check for her, she jumps from behind him, take his gun and shoot him. At the same time, firefighters who were earlier called by 47 arrive and make their way up the building, and among them was 47. Leclerc, protected by John and other bodyguards, quickly escape from the crush. They walk in. When they enter into his office, 47 is already inside waiting for them. He shoots but John stops the bullet with his hand and the two start fighting. 47 knocks John to the ground and empties an entire gun on him, but he feels nothing. He stands up and starts to beat 47 and even punches holes on the wall behind. 47 quickly strangles him and attaches the wires to a naked electric wire behind, and he is cooked alive. His body was strong enough to shield bullets, but electricity did the work. He picks a gun from the floor and together with Katya they go after them to get her father, who was now in a helicopter ready to leave. He hands her a gun and the two special agents are ready to finish the job. The elevator doors open and they start shooting. They take out the bodyguards one after the other, but as they are fighting, the helicopter takes off and leaves the building. Katie could only watch as her father leave and abandon her once more. At this point, Leclerc is sure he is safe as they had managed to escape. He even promises Litvenko he would come back and find Katya, but Litvenko takes out his inhaler and when he presses it, the helicopter blows up. Katya could only watch as the father who she had spent years looking for leave once more. But this time, forever. It turns out, killing both Leclerc and Katya was 47's mission all along and he finished part of his job. But for Katie, he refused and threw the phone down the skyscraper. Killing the two was necessary in order to put a stop to the agent program once and for all. Litvenko knew what Leclerc would do to her, so he did what any father would. He died to save his daughter's life. But as the two are just about to leave the building, the elevator doors opened, and an assassin was standing there. It was Agent 48.